within, they hold me tight. In the dark, I lose my fight.
Chapter 9. The Cabin Plan. After Carla blocked David, it was like something in her snapped and then let go completely. Free of the shame, she threw herself deeper into her time with Charlie. Every moment not spent in training was spent drinking, laughing, flirting. She acted like a woman reborn, reckless, loud, and proud of it. To anyone who'd listen, she ranted about David. He was so controlling, she'd say over drinks. Never let me breathe. And God, he never respected me. Always checking up on me like I was a damn teenager. Sometimes she'd even throw in tears for effect, dabbing her eyes and sniffling at the table while her glass of moonshine sloshed in her hand. He made me feel worthless. I had to leave. I had no choice. But the act didn't always land. Her classmates exchanged uneasy glances. Most had seen her wrapped around Charlie enough times to make their own judgments. They had assumed he was her husband. Some thought it was odd he wasn't even in class. Others whispered that something about her stories didn't add up. No one said it out loud, but the contradiction between her crying fits and her sudden laughter, her hands all over Charlie, her boasting about their late-night tastings of banana-strawberry moonshine, left people uneasy. It was hard to take her pain seriously when she was smiling 5 minutes later, sitting in Charlie's lap, feeding him French fries. Carla didn't notice. Or maybe she didn't care. In her mind, she was the victim, the hero of her own messy story. Anyone who questioned it was just too blind to understand. "I'm finally free," she told one girl outside class during a smoke break. "I can be myself now. I was dying with him." The party didn't last. After 2 weeks of soaking in attention, drinking Carol's banana split and playing the rebel wife, Charlie's tone began to shift. "I've got to head back to work," he said one morning, rubbing his temples. "Boss called. They need me." Carla blinked. "You said you'd stay with me through my last week." "I said maybe," he replied, already stuffing clothes into his bag. "Didn't think I'd get called in early." "But I still have a whole week," she said, her voice flatter than she intended. Charlie zipped up the bag without looking at her. "Yeah, but this ain't a vacation, Carla. I got bills too." And just like that, the energy changed. She watched him move around the room with a casual detachment, like they were just friends, or worse, strangers. For the first time, Carla felt the cold edge of abandonment creeping in. Charlie gave her a lazy kiss on the cheek. "It was fun, though. You're just my type. Don't forget we still have the cabin," he said with a smile. Just when Carla thought Charlie was slipping away, he reeled her back in. "Don't worry, baby," he said, brushing his hand against hers as they sat on the tailgate of his truck. "You didn't forget, did you? We have plans. My cabin. Just us. A whole week." She blinked, unsure for a second. "You have to go back to work?" He grinned, that familiar mischievous glint in his eye. "I told them I needed that week off. For you. You're mine, Carla. Forever." A little shiver ran down her spine. It felt good to be wanted like that. Possessed. "I'll make it happen," he added, squeezing her hand. "No one's gonna take you from me." Carla smiled, her chest fluttering. The way Charlie talked made her feel chosen, special, even if something in the back of her mind knew it was a little too much, too fast. "But," Charlie added, his tone dipping into something more serious, "we gotta keep it quiet. Don't go telling anyone about the cabin, especially to where your clingy husband might find out." Her stomach clenched. "He might try to drive down and ruin everything," Charlie continued, anger in his voice. "And I don't need some crazy guy showing up and trying to torch my place or start drama, you get me?" Carla nodded slowly. "Of course. He won't hear a word from me. It's our week," Charlie said. "Ours and nobody else's." And just like that, Carla was all in. It wasn't even a choice. She had to protect Charlie. He was her new man. She owed him that much. Besides, nobody else would understand. Most people didn't even know she'd ended things with David. They probably just assumed she was out training and would go back to her boring married life. Let them think that. She'd tell the story her way. She met Charlie after she broke things off with David. The details didn't matter, just the version people believed. And when she didn't come home right away, she'd blame a car issue. Broke down on the way back, had to wait on a tow, she'd say. Maybe throw in something about needing a rental. Decided to stay in Norman for her car being fixed. Good place to say she met Charlie, too. A romantic spin. Meanwhile, she quietly adjusted the vacation days she had requested for David. She moved them up, just enough to buy her time for the cabin getaway with Charlie. Everything was falling into place, except the following week wasn't quite what she expected. Charlie had gone back to work for the week. He'd see her soon. But as the days passed, Carla found herself feeling restless, unsettled. She didn't feel like going out anymore. She stayed in more, scrolling, overthinking. Every buzz from her phone that wasn't Charlie left her stomach in knots. Anticipation turned to obsession. She didn't want anything to get in the way. They had their plan worked out. She'd leave her car in a parking lot pretty far from Charlie's cabin, just like they discussed. He'd drive her the rest of the way so it couldn't be traced. It all felt thrilling, dangerous, forbidden. But underneath it all, there was a quiet, creeping feeling she couldn't quite name. Maybe it was because this wasn't just a trip. This was the start of something bigger, something she couldn't undo. When Carla had finally passed her training class, she was thrilled, though she acted like it was no big deal. "These things are easy for me," she said with a confident smirk, tossing her certificate into her suitcase like it was just another receipt. In truth, she was proud, but she had other things on her mind. Namely, Charlie. He hadn't been too talkative on Snapchat lately. His responses came further apart. No more playful streaks or morning selfies. And he never messaged her first anymore. Carla told herself it was fine. He was just busy, tired. Men needed space sometimes, especially when they were planning something as serious as a week alone in a cabin. Still, she checked her phone obsessively. She even checked to see if David had tried to message her, even though she blocked him. Nothing. Not a single call, not a single text. And she didn't care about him, not really, but the silence was unnerving, not because she missed him, but because it meant she had no one begging for her, no one to reject, no attention to bask in. She had her friends back home poke around. One of them looked at David's Facebook. Nothing there. He had gone silent. Something didn't sit right. When she talked to Patricia, she got something even stranger. "There was a death," Patricia said over the phone. "Might have been a suicide. No name released yet. Derek. He said the sheriff's department has been keeping it real quiet." Carla felt a cold shift in her stomach. She laughed it off. That town's full of drama. Always has been. Patricia said she tried to reach David later that night anyway. Called once. No answer. Then she texted her stepbrothers. Nothing. Patricia didn't think much of it. "They probably just don't want to be involved," she said, "since they probably know you left their dad." Carla didn't reply. For the first time in weeks, she felt something that almost resembled dread. It wasn't guilt, exactly. But the silence had grown too loud. She sat on the edge of her bed, phone in hand, staring at the message she had typed for Charlie. "I'm ready to start traveling to you. Just let me know where to leave the car." Her thumb hovered over the send button. And for once, she hesitated. Carla stared at the message for what felt like forever. Her finger hovered above the send button, her heart pounding harder than she wanted to admit. What if he doesn't answer? What if he changed his mind? What if I'm just another mistake to him? She shook her head, pushed the doubts down, and finally tapped send. Seconds ticked by. Her palms were sweating. 10 seconds. 20. 30. Then her phone lit up. Charlie. Glad you're ready. Meet me at the old Sinclair. Leave your car there. I'll come pick you up. He also left her the address. He was so considerate. Carla exhaled a long breath she hadn't realized she was holding. Her body relaxed instantly, tension draining out of her shoulders like a pulled thread. He wanted her there. He was waiting. He didn't change his mind. She grabbed her luggage, tossed it in the car, and started the engine. As she pulled out of the hotel parking lot, she felt something stir inside her, a wild mix of adrenaline, fantasy, and defiance. The past? Gone. The guilt? Pushed aside. This was her moment. The air rushing through the open window felt new, cleansing. She hadn't felt this free in a long time, not bound by responsibilities, not questioned, not judged, no husband nagging, no awkward silences, no stares from classmates. She was finally going where she belonged, with the man who made her feel alive. Her phone buzzed again. Another message from Charlie. "Drive safe. You're mine now, girl. Everything starts today." She smiled. David had his chance. He could have made her feel alive. He could have fought for her, but he didn't. And now, she belonged to someone who would. She pressed harder on the gas, the wind whipping through her hair as she disappeared down the highway, chasing the version of herself she believed was worth loving.
His words were wild like the moonshine bird. Tasted like truth, too sharp to learn. Said I was his forever in flame, but shadows don't stay when you call their name. Still I spin the story, rewrite the time. Broke down for love, for something divine, but I keep checking my phone at night for echoes of someone I swore wasn't right. Nowhere but forward, I don't look behind. I buried the silence, I painted the lie. Tell me I'm chosen, I'll play the part. Even if love means tearing apart. I'm driving through thunder, but I'll pretend the storm is a promise, not just the end. The truth is a whisper I locked in the glove box. The guilt is a passenger